It is Thursday, and as always, there is so much to be thankful for. But it is late, and I was actually on my way to bed, and I just washed my hair. I got a long day ahead of me tomorrow with an early start, and I actually have been looking forward to doing this for most of my work day. Then I went and connected with a lovely friend that I haven't really connected with in a while, and I almost forgot. So maybe this Thankful Thursday, I'm just thankful that I didn't forget to do Thankful Thursday. And I didn't go to bed and I get so caught up with everything going on that I forgot. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful. Oh, I'm so thankful. I am. There really is too much. It's hard to tell it all. Even if I just think about today, how rich the just how rich the walk. I don't want to be speechless because I want to use the power of language to just testify of the goodness of God. But maybe I am just thankful I didn't forget it was Thursday. I'm thankful for victory. I'm thankful that even with the interesting things happening with work, God is good. I am thankful that as of now, none of my, well, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my coworkers, even the challenging ones, because I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm not going to pretend that some of the harmful things that have happened or that, you know, may have occurred even to the community that we serve. I'm not going to pretend those things are good things or things that we should feel good about. And I'm not going to try to spin harm. But I'm thankful because God is so big that he doesn't spin harm. He overcomes it. And he uses even harmful occurrences to further his glory and to further the richness of how you can live if you let him. That's powerful because that's how good he is. Like, he's good enough. He can actually do that. We can't do that on our own. We can learn from stuff, but some stuff is painful, it's harmful, and you can't even see the lesson in it. It's like, what lesson can you see in that? But sometimes we actually manage to, we're resilient. We manage to find fuel in it. We manage to find a fight in it, But we can't really, we can adjust our perspectives on it, certain things. But God actually can use everything, even things that are actually trash, situations and circumstances, to bless his children. And it's like, that's the thing. It don't mean that the person perpetuating harm gets a reward per se. But our God is so good that even if they would shift and come into his goodness and get cleansed of the evils and the things that they're perpetuating, they can enjoy his glory. And he can overcome even the harms that they have done. It sounds ridiculous. But when you really experience it, and start to walk into it, you realize how massive it is. So I'm grateful for even, not necessarily the fact that some people at my work are harmful, but grateful for God because he's showing me his goodness, even in the face of these situations and circumstances. The strange thing is, I've been thinking a lot about what would it mean if people from where I work actually landed on this page. And honestly, I care, but I don't really care, because I like to come to terms with the fact that I just have to stand by what I believe, what I say. Even as what I believe evolves, changes. Even as you can look back at something you said and go, okay, I see things a little differently now. I'm not going to be ashamed of my own beliefs and how they've evolved, and or too private to talk about stuff like work and all of that. But I am trying not to get too specific, though. I will say that. So if they see it, they'll know what I'm talking about. But that don't mean just any old body who see it will know the who's and what's of what I'm talking about. So interesting thing with work. Oh, some things that God was showing me certain directions things was going, and they went those directions. But I'm also learning that I don't necessarily have to anticipate how everything is going to go. And like, there's a difference between discernment and suspicion. And I've talked about that in some videos too. And I'm seeing that, like, I could look back over these several months of this position and see where I was discerning certain things and where I may have just been suspicious about certain things. And sometimes suspicion, sometimes there's something there. But what I like about discernment as a gift from God, as a tool in the hands of the Holy Spirit, is it actually tends to be more accurate. And it's less about just the person per se and more about the spiritual implications, like the spiritual implications of a thing, right? And that's what I'm learning too. So I'm thankful for that. And that is something that, again, I'm learning from dealing with some of these harmful people. But I'm also praying for these people too. And that's another thing I'm grateful for. When I pray for them, I actually pray sincerely for their well-being, the richness of their lives, their victory, that they can grow in the principles of God, healing, restoration, mercy, and grace and forgiveness. So I don't, it's it can seem counterintuitive, but forgiveness is what it is, because it is not about the thing that a person is doing that's not being wrong. It's actually the fact that it's wrong is why it requires forgiveness. So I'm learning that, to walk in forgiveness. It don't mean it's not consequences, but it's just that grace and that forgiveness leaves room for humanity to become more. Of course, I can't judge a person, and a person may never change. Some people continue in their harms, but extending the forgiveness for the one extending it puts the power out there. It heals and covers the person who's extending, and that's the other part. People miss out on the healing of forgiveness. Like, when you hold stuff against people, you're missing out. Holding them accountable or acknowledging that there's an issue is not the same. Like, holding something against them, like wanting them to be harmed because of what they did, or trying to come to these conclusions about a person completely based off what they did. Because the problem with that is nobody would get a pass. Nobody would get a pass. Because even though we may not have all committed murder and all these horrendous things, we've all done something. We have all hurt somebody, let somebody down, hurt ourselves, let ourselves down. None of us would get out clean. Nobody would get out clean. Maybe the babies, the kids, but even them little rascals. No, but as we grow, like, even from kids, we start to realize the stuff we doing ain't okay, and we still do it anyway. But yet, we can still learn and grow. So that forgiveness, it keeps putting that power out there that, we don't get to put that stamp on humanity, and we don't want that stamp put on our own humanity as just being only worthy of punishment for our wrongs. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to, like, just practice that. I can forgive these people and still report something to HR. That's an interesting balance. Grace don't mean I pretend you didn't do what you did. And God's grace for me don't mean he pretend I didn't do what I did. It means he just giving me his grace, which is real true grace. We just be modeling ours after his. But his grace, like when you have his and you extend his, then it's next level. The forgiveness of God and learning to forgive people that way, that's next level. That's not just healing and breakthrough. That is divinity. And his grace don't mean I didn't do what I did or he don't see it. But he put it somewhere. He put it on the cross. Jesus absorbed it and overcame it and settled it. So it goes somewhere. He just deals with you favorably in spite of what you've done. And he doesn't see you as what you've done. And that's what I love about God. And I love about the cross, because then he gets to see me as the cross, not these things I've done. But then he deals with me about the things that I'm doing. Also, as he doesn't hold those things against me. It can seem complex. In some ways it is. But the simplicity of it is that he just actually loves us. If you think about a parent's love for their child, you love them. And then it don't mean you let them get away with a thing, but you don't throw them away either. You teach them. You forgive them. If you're a healthy, parent anyway. But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for, those lessons in dealing with people and the harms and just difficulties and not different, because there's always differences. And that's another thing, that I'm learning with work. And I've learned that. When you really try to come to terms with it, you just learn in life dealing with people. Differences is differences. Differences of opinions, differences of views, misunderstandings, differences of even the meanings of words and what was said and all these things. Those things exist. But lately I've really, really been getting a master class and separating just what may be my differences from things that are just like egregious and unacceptable. And also just drawing lines for myself. What am I willing to deal with, Yeah, maybe I can speak up on some things here and there and advocate for myself here and there. But also I just got to draw a line. Which is why I'm still thankful for the fact that I ain't tied to this job. Right now God is doing something. So I'm going to roll with it. But I'm not tied to this job. So I'm grateful for all of that. I don't want this page to turn into me like faith in the workforce. It's been interesting though, and it's just been very interesting. But I'm grateful for God, His faithfulness. I'm grateful that I remembered to do this Thankful Thursday. I did my hair, which is interesting. I'm grateful that if tomorrow comes, that God has some interesting things in store for me. Long day ahead tomorrow. And early start. And it's already almost 11. So I'm going to go to bed. But I pray that if you watch this whole thing, that you don't just hear me, but you hear the truth in what I'm talking about. Like the spirit in my gratitude, because it's just I pray you learn the beauty of separating kind of person and their fallibility from the divinity that's at work in them, and just glean from that divinity and not get caught up in the fallibility. And when you learn how to do that, you really can learn a lot from a lot of people. You can really get encouraged. You can really learn a lot about God and yourself from people when you learn to discern the divine and the spirit apart from the frail human frailty. So I pray if you watch that you can enjoy that with this message or future messages. You get it one day. If you don't know this not this type, but if you don't know like this Jesus, I pray you get to know him, because a lot of us have been introduced to the knockoff, knockoffs, plural, so many, and it can seem like, all of them is a knockoff. Is it? He's the truth. We just be lying about him. That's the reality. He's the truth. People just be lying about him. People just be lying. But some people be telling the truth. That's the difference maker. So I pray you can hear the truth when people talk about him and start to discern that too. And receive Jesus, who is the truth. And reject people's ideologies. And tear down your own ideologies. And allow that truth to really come in. Is the love, the peace, the assurance, the grace, the lessons, and the liberty, the freedom to continue learning and living and growing is unmatched. It's flat out unmatched. No sorrows added. It don't come with no side effects. No torment. Just his goodness in perpetuity. Almost too good to be true, but truly good. I pray that you can experience that. So you have a blessed probably if you're seeing this, you definitely ain't gonna see it on Thursday, because it's already gonna take some time to load up. So you just have a blessed weekend. Whenever you catch this, you just stay blessed and encouraged. Bye.